Have you ever wondered who's the goodest boy of all time? And if there was a deck built around the goodest boy of all time, what would that deck look like? Well, here's the question, and here's the answer, and here's the answer to the question, and the question to the answer. In this deck, we will be going over the commander, the sub-commander, and then the deck in total to answer, is this deck worth buying at the end? And again, this is a thing where when it comes to Fallout, I am going to be very biased. I love the games. It is probably one of my favorite franchises. To be honest, I would love if they made a Borderlands one, but with how Borderlands is falling as faster than them 3 rockets that you bring the ghouls to space or the moon, land, fly down, I don't really think they're going to be working together. Now, maybe the film might be good, but that's a completely different video and a completely different subject. So in this video, we'll be going over the Scrappy Savant Fallout deck. Again, Fallout being one of my favorites. Let's go through this. We're going to be starting off this video talking about the commander, and the commander of the deck is Dog Me Ever Loyal. For a red, green, and a white, you get a legendary creature dog that is a mythic. Whenever Dog Me enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards, then return an aura enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever a creature you control that is enchanted or equipped attacks, create a chunk token and is a 3/3. Now again, if you're not mad into the Fallout universe, there is people thinking, and there's a few hints, that Dog Me is a synth. Mainly because you find it right outside of Sanctuary, and also it is the only dog you see waiting there, and it's straight away liking you. So people think that it is a synth. It could not be. I'm not sure if that question was ever answered, but it would have been really good that if they answered it in the subtext or in the bottom bit, saying that if it is or not. When it comes to this, it really looks like it's going to be a Voltron deck. You pick a creature, you pick a few enchantments, you put it onto the creature or creatures, and then you attack. I do think it is a really good commander overall, especially since you get to get stuff back. But plus with radiation, I really do think it's even better, mainly because if someone radiates you and you play Dog Meat, yes, you mill 5, but I'm pretty sure you get to pick anything that was there that turn. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But without a commander, you cannot have a sub-commander. So in this deck, the sub-commander is Preston Garvey Minutemen. For 2 red, green, and a white, you get a legendary creature, human soldier that is a mythic. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a green or enchantment token named Settlement. Attach it up to 1 target land you control. It is an enchanted land, and enchant land has tap, add 1 mana of any colour. Whenever Preston Garvey Minutemen attacks, untap each enchanted permanent you control, and it is a 4/4. I don't like Preston as a character. He is really annoying and just keeps doing the same thing over and over again. Again, I know it is a meme that no one likes him. To be honest, I do think they should add in the copy of him, the guy that tries to act like him in the game. But again, that is such a niche thing, people might have not known it. But again, sorry if I spoiled that on you, by the way. But this card is perfect for him. It is literally, you get a settlement and you get to control it, and then get to untap every time he attacks. Now, my favorite thing about this, that it's not just the lands, it's anything. So if you put 1/1 counters on, or put auras and stuff onto creatures and permanents and enchantments and stuff, they also untap. So stuff like Wilderness Reclamation and Seaborn Muse, again, really good cards, would also be kind of good in this deck, especially if you have tap abilities, because you can untap, and before the next card activates to untap them, you can tap them for abilities and do maybe 2 or 3 tap effects per turn. I do really like it, especially since it also targets lands or settlements, as it would be now known as. But again, no matter how good of a card they make with this guy, I'm still not going to like him, even though they pretty much made a really good card with him. So onwards and forwards onto the deck. Now, of course, with this being an enchantment aura deck, there's not many creatures. In this deck, there is a total of 18 creatures, and you get an awesome creature like Kate Cage Brawler, Mr. Gutsy, Pure Steel Paladin, Anne-Marie Paladin, Codsworth Handy Helper, Maria Brown Guided Author, 3 Dog Galaxy News DJ, Veronica Descendant Scribe, Cass Hand of Vengeance, Dress Wayward Tavern Keeper. To be honest, actually looking through this creature deck, the only thing I could think of is they should have made Trash Can Carla. Just Again, I know she works for the Institute, so she might have been better in science, but I do also think because of the Minutemen and Dogmeat, the only other person I can think of is anyone from Sanctuary, realistically, if that's the main place you put them. Again, cannot remember her name from the top of my head, but the woman that, the foresight, it tells me where Sean is. Here, have more drugs. Again, would have been a good character, and the synth, that's another synth that works for you. I'm pretty sure he's the synth, the guy that also hacks into stuff and makes the machine if you, again, stick with the Minutemen, which if you do, wrong choice, but again, that's a different conversation, different topic. So I am happy with the creatures they have picked in this deck, and I do think, again, they work really well, and I'm happy with the characters and all they've picked. Again, I just wish there was more room. I think they should have done 5-6 decks and maybe more, but again, that's just me and my Fallout loving brain. So now we're going over the spells, which are the instants and sorceries. In this deck there is a total of 9, and you get cards like Heroic Intervention, Inventory Management, Chaos Warp, Single Combat, Megaton's Fate, and Blasphemous Act. Again, Chaos Warp, such a good card, absolutely love it, but in a previous video you would have seen I would have preferred it if the art was the Wild Wasteland perk. I remember it now, not like 15 minutes ago when I recorded the other one. But I do think overall it's really, really good. Blasphemous Act, again, a really good card. I do find the artwork not the best, but again, I'm not complaining about it either. Heroic Intervention though is such a good card. I think they should have a different variation of colors for this, because in my eyes this is Tevri's Protection but for green, and if there is, I would love to see what cards you could think of if they made a red, a blue and a white version of these, and a colorless. Let me know in the comments down below what you think it should do. But now we're going on to the artifacts of this deck. In this deck there is a total of 17 in total, but only 2 of them are mana rocks, but you get really cool artifacts like Basilisk Collar, Bloodforge Battle Axe, Masterwork of Ingenuity, Pip-Boy 3000, Junk Jet, Champion's Helm, and Pre-War Formal Wear. But again, putting stuff like Pip-Boy in it and Basilisk Collar is really good. To be honest, I wish they had a Slave Collar version, but I know why they cannot. It is very risky and Wizards try and stay PG, but again, they're doing it in a game where Bloody Mess is a perk. Great perk, by the way. Overall, I'm happy with some of these. Again, I could think of so many cards like Lincoln's Rifle, Terrible Shotgun, Pulse Grenade, Plasma Rifle, Laser Rifle. That would be really good artifact weapons, equipment type of stuff. But again, I understand that they didn't really have the space for that, but that would have been a really good deck idea in my opinion. But as always, let's just go on to the next section. Now we are going on to the enchantments of this beautiful deck, and in this deck there is a total of 17, but you get cards such like Animal Friend, Idolize, Vault 21 House Gambit, Strong Back, Vault 101 Birthday Party, Grim Reaper Spirit, Mantle of the Ancients, Almost Perfect. Again, I've talked about this in the other 2 videos. Vault cards are really good and a really good idea. I am really happy with the way they did that. The other enchantments are somewhat between okay enchantments and really good. Again, if you haven't seen, there was the Game Nights Fallout episode, and Strong Back did really well. That it kept being put back in. Again, if you haven't seen that video, again, I know they're way bigger and you probably watch them more than me, but again, I do recommend watching that video. It is a really good episode. But now let's go on to the lands. In this deck there is a total of 38 lands, but you get lands such like Berry Ruined, Company Vista, Cinderglade, Clifftop Retreat, Junktown, Roadside Reliquary, Roothound Crag, Scavenger Grounds, Sun Petal Grove. So usually when it comes to this type of thing, it's usually where I'm talking about how the lands make these decks look not as good. This is where the deck kind of goes down, but to be honest, with my Fallout brain, I'm like, every land is good. This could literally be filled with basics, and as long as it's Fallout art in it, I'm like, it's good, it's perfect, it's amazing. When it comes to these 4 decks, I personally think this is the weakest. It's not my favorite one. I do think it is the worst in my opinion. Then it goes Kaiser. No, it'll go this, Science, Kaiser, Mutants. Now that you know that. Haha. Well, that's actually a good question. What would be, if you had to place this in order from 1st to 4th, let me know in the comment section down below what you would place these 4 decks as. But again, the lands are okay to good. They're not really the best, but again, I'm not really going to be complaining because it is a Fallout product. But talking about the Fallout product, is this deck worth it? Again, as someone that doesn't play Voltron that much, or doesn't really play decks that require a lot of artifacts or enchantments or auras to put onto creatures, this deck isn't for me. I do think the sub commander for it is a really good choice. I do think when it comes to the commander, you would probably have to focus more on that and take a bunch of the cards out. I do think when it comes to like the creatures and artifact stuff, and overall they're okay. When it comes to, if we take out the Fallout stuff, I think the deck would probably be like a 6 something, 6-4, maybe 6-6. But throwing the Fallout stuff, I'm going to give it an 8-8. But again, that's just me and my Fallout brain. I do think it's one of those things that if this is your favorite deck, it's solely due to you love dog meat. It could be other reasons, but majority of the time, I'm going to say maybe 8 out of 10 players that go, this is the best deck ever, is because of solely dog meat. And I understand why. Dog meat is amazing. But if you have any questions when it comes to Fallout, if there's any cards that you would like to talk about, one thing I would love to do is get normal Magic cards and put a Fallout thing on it. So if you have any suggestions, like if there was any characters you think they should make, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to make a video on like 10 cards that they should have made. Would have been a really good thing with your comments down below. So again, I would love to make a video on that, but it depends on the comment section. But as always, remember to like, subscribe, follow me, like all my stuff, watch more of my videos, and again, here is the outro. If you like this video, we have the previous Mutate deck here, a playlist with all the Fallout, Magic the Gathering, Is It Worth It videos here, and a playlist here, and I will see you all in the next video.